Joint and solidary obligations. So this is another kind of obligation as to the number of parties. Kaganiha, katong discussion nato sa alternative and facultative obligations as to the number of prestations. Here, as to the number of parties, the number of the debtors and the number of the creditors involved in an obligation. Joint obligation. So the presumption class is joint unless otherwise indicated by the law or nature of obligation. That is under Article 1207. So what is the rule when there is concurrence of debtors or creditors or both? What is the nature of that obligation? What is the general rule? So the general rule is that the obligation is joint. When the problem is silent, the obligation is joint. So what do we mean by joint? Under joint obligation, each debtor is liable only for his specific share in the obligation, and each creditor is entitled only to his specific share in the obligation. So each credit here is distinct from one another. Therefore, a joint debtor cannot be required to pay for the share of another debtor, although he may pay if he wants to. So, mao ni siya ang joint obligation. It is presumed always that an obligation is joint. Why? Kasi different ang solidary class. Later, madiscuss nato siya. Ang joint manggod ang safer kaysa sa solidary, because in solidary, any of the debtors can be compelled by the creditor to pay the entire obligation, no? To comply with the entire obligation. But sa joint, dili pwede nimo makompel ang usa ka debtor to pay the entire amount, because each debtor is liable only for his specific share in the obligation. Example, A is indebted to B and C for 10,000 pesos. So the problem doesn't state if it's a joint obligation or not. And since the problem is silent, the presumption is that it is a joint obligation. So here we have one debtor, A, and we have two creditors, B and C. In other words, joint creditors CB and C. So question, how much can B collect from A? The answer is 5,000 only, because B is only entitled to receive 5,000, and 5,000 is his specific share in the total obligation, which is 10,000 pesos. Next, how much can C collect from A? Still, C is only entitled to collect 5,000 from A. Okay, di siya makakollect ng entire 10,000 kay A, because as a rule under joint obligation, each creditor is entitled only to his specific share in the obligation. And under the joint obligation class, equal sharing sila. Equal divided by 2, kasi 2 creditors. So 10,000 by 2, 5,000 pesos. Another example, we have A and B are indebted to D and E for 10,000 pesos. So here we have two debtors and we have two creditors. And since the problem is silent, this is presumed to be a joint obligation. Okay, so each debtor is liable only for his specific share in the obligation. So we have two debtors. So 10,000 divided by 2, we have 5,000. So 5,000 lang ang specific share ni A sa total obligation. 5,000 lang pod ang share ni B sa total obligation. So how much is the total obligation of A? For question number 1, only 5,000 pesos. Next, how much is A liable to D? The answer is 2,500. Why? D is only entitled to receive how much? 5,000 in total from A and B. And 5,000 naman ang total from A and B. So each of them, each debtor, A ug si B, each of them will give D 2,500 only. Kasi tag-isa man ng 2.5 si D and E from A. Tag-isa pod og 2.5 si D and E kay B. Okay? So how much is A liable to D? Only 2,500. Next, how much is D entitled to receive from the whole obligation? So from the whole obligation, D is entitled to receive 5,000 pesos. Kanang 5,000 pesos is composed of 2.5 from A and 2.5 from B. Okay? So from the total obligation, D is entitled to receive 5,000. But from A, D is entitled to receive only 2.5. From B, D is entitled to receive only 2.5. Number 4, how much is E entitled to receive from B? So E is entitled to receive only 2,500 from B. Okay? Kasi even though, as I've mentioned, as I've discussed already, even though si creditor E has 5,000 na total amount na ma-receive from the 10,000 pesos, but since the debtors here are joint debtors, we have two debtors here, so ang 5,000 ni E is composed of 2.5 from A and 2.5 from B. That's why E is entitled only to receive 2.5 from B. Now let's go to solidary obligation. Okay, again under Article 1207 gihapon siya. So what do we mean by solidary obligation? That is an obligation wherein each one of the debtors is bound to render and or each one of the creditors has a right to demand from any of the debtors the entire compliance of the obligation. That is what I've told you kaganiha, that under solidary obligation, any of the debtors can be compelled by the creditor or by the creditors to pay the entire obligation. Kasi one for all for one ang solidary obligation. So when can there be a solidary obligation? When there is an express stipulation of solidarity. When there is a stipulation that they are solidarily liable, or the law says it is a solidary obligation, or the nature of the obligation requires solidarity. Example, A is indebted to B and C, solidary creditors, for 10,000 pesos. Okay, class? Kapag the problem is silent, the obligation is presumed to be joint. But here, it is expressly stipulated by the parties that B and C are solidary creditors. Hence, this is an example of a solidary obligation. First question, how much can B collect from A? 10,000 pesos. Why? Under solidary obligation, the creditor may compel the debtor or one of the debtors to pay the entire obligation. Okay? What if ang nangutang si A ug si X kay B and C? So B may compel A to pay the whole 10,000 pesos. B may also compel X, kung si X debtor pod, to pay the entire 10,000 pesos. Mao na siyang solidary obligation. Any of you can be compelled to pay the entire obligation. Unlike sa joint obligation, that the debtors cannot be compelled to pay the entire obligations. The debtors are only liable for their specific share in the obligation. Okay? Number 2, how much can C collect from A? Again, 10,000 pesos. Number 3, B received the 10,000 pesos from A. How much can C recover from B? So, si B and C, the solidary creditors, magtunga, no, sa total obligation. Magbahin-bahin man na sila once fully paid na. So, the 10,000 pesos already paid by A to B. Can C recover from B? Yes. The entire 10,000? No. But only his share of how much? 5,000 pesos. Okay? But C can compel A to pay the entire 10,000 pesos. Pwede na po si C ang makakolekta. But once one of the solidary creditors had already collected the entire amount from the debtor, the obligation of that collecting Now, collecting solidary creditor is to give to the other solidary creditor, to his co-solidary creditor, the share of that creditor in the entire obligation. Article 1213. Article 1213 provides that a solidary creditor cannot assign his rights without the consent of the others. Okay? But class, this assignment of rights must pertain to the assignment of rights to a third person. Kasi if the right of a solidary creditor is being assigned to his co-solidary creditor, then there's no need of any consent or permission coming from the other solidary creditors. For example, A is indebted to B, C, and E, solidary creditors, for 10,000 pesos. First question, if B assigned his right to C, C is his co-solidary creditor, without the consent of E, is the payment to C by A valid? The answer is yes. No consent of E is no longer necessary because C there, kanang gi-assign na ni B ng right ni B, is a co-solidary creditor of E. He is not a third person. So, the payment made by A to C is valid. What if B assigned his right to X and X is a third person? X is not a solidary creditor. Kasi ang solidary creditors here are B, C, and E only. What if X here is being assigned by B, no? To replace B, to represent B as one of the solidary creditors without the consent of C and E? Is the payment to X by A valid? Valid ba kung magbayad si A kay X? Mayroon man si A, nagbayad ko kay X. Kay si X daw, representante na daw siya ni B kasi gi-assign na ni B ang tanan iyang rights nga naa sa obligasyon ni A of 10,000 to them kay X. Okay? So, question, is the payment made by A to X valid? X as a third person being assigned with B's rights without the consent of C and E? The answer is no. In this case, class, 1213 applies. 1213 provides that if a solidary creditor assigns his rights to a third person, he must first secure the consent and the permission of his co-solidary creditors. Otherwise, the payment made to that third person by the debtor will not be valid. Okay, class? Article 1214, okay, it provides that the debtor may pay any one of the solidary creditors, but if any demand, judicial or extrajudicial, has been made by one of them, payment should be made to him. So in this example, A is indebted to B, C, and E solidary creditors for 12,000 pesos. Under 1214, A is authorized to pay the 12,000 pesos to any of the solidary creditors. So, pwede si A, because A has the right of choice to pay to B, to pay to C, or to pay to E. Pwede siya makabuot. But, remember this, once there is any demand made upon by any of the solidary creditors, whether judicial or extrajudicial demand, like si B, kung si B maningil kay A, then A has to pay the 12,000 pesos to B. Okay? Pero kung walay magsingil kay A has the right to pay any of the solidary creditors the total amount of 12,000 pesos. So, yung na lang kasimple ang 1214. So, kung kinsang maningil sa imuha, siya imuhang bayaran. Kung walay maningil pa sa imuha, makapili ka kinsa imuhang bayaran. Okay, we have Article 1215. It provides that novation, compensation, confusion, or remission of the debt made by any of the solidary creditors or with any of the solidary debtors should extinguish the obligation without prejudice to the provisions of Article 1219. The creditor who may have executed any of these acts, as well as he who collects the debt, shall be liable to the others for the share in the obligation corresponding to them. So the novation, compensation, confusion, or remission of the debt mentioned under 1215 class, they are modes of extinguishment of an obligation. We will discuss them later on, okay? So here under 1215, there is extinguishment of debt. But we don't know if it's the total extinguishment, the total amount, no, or just a portion of the total amount. So we have this example so that we can fully understand and we can appreciate this provision. A is indebted to B, C, and E solidary creditors for 12,000. B renounced the debt of A without the consent of C and E. So this is a solidary obligation because expressly stipulated that B, C, and E are solidary creditors. Okay? But if the problem is silent, the presumption is it is a joint obligation. So here, solidary obligation. B renounced the debt of A without the consent of C and E. Gi-renounce, gitiway na gi-quits na niya class. So what's the effect? What's the consequence? Is the total obligation of 12,000 extinguished because of that renunciation made by B in favor of A? The answer is yes. So A is no longer indebted to B, C, and E for 12,000 pesos. But another question, how about C and E? Because the renunciation was made without their consent, can they still recover from the total amount of 12,000? Yes, of course. How much is the share of each? So since 12,000 ang total obligation and there are 3 solidary creditors, so each creditor is entitled for 4,000 pesos. So kung bayaran ni siya ni A, tag 4,000 each sila. However, in this example, A's debt was renounced, no, by B. So wala na'y utang si A. But B has an obligation to C and E because the consent of C and E were not obtained. So unsay mahitabo, B shall give C his share in the obligation of 4,000 and B shall also give E 4,000 pesos. So even if the total amount of 12,000 pesos na obligation has already been extinguished by virtue of that renunciation made by B in favor of A, C and E can still recover their share in the obligation. What if joint ni siya? If the problem is joint class, A is still indebted to C and E. Magbayad gyapon siya of how much? 4,000 each, no? So, ang ma-renounce lang ang portion pertaining to B. Kasi joint man. So, ang mahitabo, A is to pay C 4,000, A is to pay E 4,000, and no longer to pay 4,000 to B because B has already renounced his debt in favor of A. Okay? So that's Article 1215. We have Article 1217. It provides that payment made by one of the solidary debtors extinguishes the obligation. If 2 or more solidary debtors offer to pay, the creditor may choose which offer to accept. He who made the payment may claim from his co-debtors only the share which corresponds to each, with the interest for the payment already made. If the payment is made before the debt is due, no interest for the intervening period may be demanded. When one of the solidary debtors cannot, because of his insolvency, reimburse his share to the debtor paying the obligation, such share shall be borne by all his co-debtors in proportion to the debt of each. So here, Article 1217, we're talking about insolvency of one of the solidary debtors. Okay, let's have this example. A, B, and C solidary debtors are indebted to X for 12,000 pesos. So A here is insolvent. Okay, insolvent. First question, how much can X collect from A? The answer is none, 0. Why? Because A is insolvent. Di siya makabayad. Second question, how much can X collect from B? B can collect X can collect from B the entire 12,000 pesos. Remember, pag solidary, all for one, one for all. The creditor may compel the debtor or any of the debtors to pay the entire obligation. Third question, how much can X collect from C? Again, the same, 12,000 pesos. Dili pwede tingi-tingi class sa solidary obligation. Pwede jud sila compelled to pay the entire obligation. Number 4, if B paid 12,000 to X, o si B daw ang nagbayad ng 12,000, how much can B recover for reimbursement from C? Kasi class, under solidary obligation, even though one of the debtors may be compelled to pay the entire obligation, okay, the paying solidary debtor can always ask for reimbursement from the other solidary debtors. Magbahin-bahin man na sila bayad. Ikaw sa magbayad ng 12,000, bayaran ra ka namo. O, mo nang nahitabo, si B ang nagbayad ng 12K kay X. Can B recover from A and C? Let's see. No, let's see. Okay. So, B can recover from C. How much? How much can he recover from C? 6,000 pesos. Why? Na dapat divided by 3 man. 12,000 divided by 3, dapat tag 4,000 each si A, B, and C. So si C dapat 4,000 lang iyahang ihatag kay B. Manong 6,000 man? Because A is insolvent. The share of A in the entire obligation shall be borne by the other solidary debtors who are not insolvent. So, kinsa man ang solvent diri, si B and C. Dili man pwede nga di sila mobayad sa share ni A. Why? Kasi solidary, one for all for one. So, unsa mahitabo? Si B can recover from C 6,000 pesos. 4,000 pesos dito ang share ni C sa obligation. 2,000 pesos mauto ang share ni A nagi bayaran ni C. Okay? So, B now can collect 2,000 from A. And C now can collect 2,000 from A. Kanus A? Kung si A maging solvent na. Okay? So, yung anak klasang mahitabo. Still, dili pod mahimong luhaan si B and C. They can still recover from A the total amount of 4,000. Tag 2 each sila, tag 2,000 each sila. Once A's financial condition improves. Okay? So that is 1217. Ma'am, what if this is a joint obligation? What if A, B, and C are joint debtors and A is insolvent? Is the insolvency of A, no? To be borne, is it to be borne by the other joint debtors? The answer is no. Why? Kasi class, kapag joint obligation, kanya-kanya na sila. Ija-ija, no? Kanya-kanya. Utang mo, utang mo. Utang ko, utang ko. And from the 12,000, ang utang lang nako is 4,000 lang. Since insolvent man ka, dili nako akuon ang imuhang share. Kasi dili ta one for all for one. Joint man ta. Okay? So if this is a joint obligation class, if B paid 12,000 to X, how much can B recover for reimbursement from C? What if siya sa ang nagbayad, no? Pwede ba? Pwede. Dili pasabot na joint, dili pod pwede mo bayad ng total amount ang one of the solidary debtors. Pwede man good if gusto niya, but he cannot be compelled to pay. He may pay if he wants to, but he cannot be compelled to pay. What if B wants to pay the 12K to X? How much can he recover from C? Only 4,000. Kasi, ang share ni A, dapat bayaran dyan na ni A kay B. Dili apil-apilon si C. Dili na karguhon po ni C. So, tag 4K dapat sila. Okay? So, that's Article 1217. Or what if nagbayad na ng 4,000 si B kay X? Si C po nagbayad na og 4,000 kasi joint, diba? Joint obligation. How about si A? Wala man kabayad. Can X compel B and C to pay for the share of A? The answer is no, because again, that is a joint obligation. Okay? Joint obligation. Each debtor is only liable for his specific share in the obligation. So if one of the joint debtors is insolvent, then the insolvency shall not be borne by the other co-debtors. Okay, we have here an example, a joint obligation. Same facts sa kaganihang example, but it's just that A, B, and C are now joint debtors. A is insolvent. How much can X collect from A? If A is insolvent, if A cannot pay, kung wala jud siya mabayad, zero. No? If A's financial condition improves, then that's the time that X can collect 4,000 from A. How much can X collect from B? Only 4,000 pesos. That is only the share of B in the entire obligation. How much can X collect from C? Only 12,000. 4,000 pesos. Okay, only 4,000 pesos. Okay. Article 1219. The remission made by the creditor of the share which affects one of the solidary debtors does not release the latter from his responsibility towards the co-debtors, in case the debt had been totally paid by any one of them before the remission was effected. When we say remission, class, na-remit, ang dilit pasabot na, gi-remit ka ng remit na gihatag ha. Remission here, the debt is being remitted, meaning kanselado na, gitiway na. Gi-quits na, thank you na. Wala na kay utang. Munang pasabot sa remission. Gi-quits na niya, gi-cancel na niya. Okay? Ng creditor, of course, in favor of the debtor. So, pag makadungog mo, the debt has already been remitted by the creditor in favor of the debtor. Dili pa sa mga gi-remit niya, gihatag niya, meaning gi-cancel niya ang utang. Okay? So, here, there are two rules here. First rule is payment before remission, and the second rule is payment after remission. So before remission, let's have an example. A and B are solidarily indebted to C for 10,000 pesos. Now B paid 10,000 to C. Okay? Later, C remitted the share of A. Yang i-cancela ang share ni A in the entire obligation, which is 5,000. Question, can B demand reimbursement from A? Kasi nakabayad man si B ng 10,000. What if mayroon si A? Kanselado naman ako ang share sa obligation, gi-cancela ni C. So, di na dapat kumubayad sa imong 5,000. Dito ka maningil kay C sa imuhang nabayad na 5,000 additional. Kasi ang 5,000 pertaining to you, the other 5,000 pertaining to me, but my share has already been extinguished because of the remission made by C. Kaya di ko mubayad sa imuha kung magpa-reimburse ka, niingon si A. Question, is A correct? No? Can B demand reimbursement from A? Can B collect from A 5,000 pesos, which is the share of A in the entire obligation? So in this example class, A is still liable to B. Why? Because the remission here has no effect after all. It is without effect. Why? It was made after payment. Remember, payment is one of the modes of extinguishing an obligation. The payment here has already extinguished the entire obligation of 10,000. So, the obligation having been extinguished already by the payment made by B, hence B can demand reimbursement from A because the remission was made later na after payment by B. Okay? Number 2, payment after remission. A and B are solidarily indebted to C for 10,000. C remitted the share of A. Later, class, B paid 10,000 to C. Can B demand reimbursement from A of 5,000 pesos? Pwede ba? The answer is, of course, no. Why? Remission happened after, remission happened before payment. Okay? So, wala pa man nabayaran, girimit na. Pasabot, 5,000 na lang ang utang, no? Ang total obligation ni A and B. So, in that case, the 5,000 pesos, that pertains na lang to B, okay, to the share of B. Class Y, because the share of A has already been remitted or cancelled by C rather. Dili na siya pabayro ni C. So, mahitabo, si B na lang ang liable ng 5,000. And since B paid 10,000 to C, B can ask for the return of the 5,000 from C because B cannot demand reimbursement from A anymore. Okay? So, B can go after C for the excess na payment niya, which is 5,000 pesos under the principle of solutio indebiti, meaning payment by mistake. Since remitted ng share ni A, 5,000 na lang dayang utang. Okay? So that's under Article 1219. Article 1221. If the thing has been lost or if the prestation has become impossible without the fault of the solidary debtors, the obligation shall be extinguished. If there was fault on the part of any of them, all shall be responsible to the creditor for the price and the payment of damages and interest without prejudice to their action against the guilty or negligent debtor. If through a fortuitous event the thing is lost or the performance has become impossible after one of the solidary debtors has incurred in delay through the judicial or extrajudicial demand upon him by the creditor, the provisions of the preceding paragraph shall apply. Okay, to further appreciate Article 1221, we have this example. Kasi class, we have to discuss the provisions of law by using examples. Mas masabta nato kaysa walay examples, dili nato siya ma-visualize, no? Mas practical pag na examples. Okay. Simple example, A, B, and C solidary debtors are obliged to deliver a truck worth 300,000 to D. The truck was destroyed due to the fault of C with damages amounting to 30,000 pesos. Okay. So under Article 1221 class, if the thing was lost, no, or has been impaired because of the fault of any of the solidary debtors, then they have to be responsible for the price and the payment of damages and interest. Okay? Payment of the price and damages and interest. They are not required or compelled to deliver the thing itself kasi ang truck destroyed na. So, unsa na lang ang ilang i-deliver sa creditor? Instead of the truck, kay destroyed naman siya, it's the value or the price of the truck plus damages and interest, if any. Okay? So, number 1, how much can D collect from A? Since this is a solidary obligation, all for one, one for all, so D can compel A to pay the entire obligation, which is 300,000, the price of the truck, plus the damages amounting to 30,000 pesos. If you're going to ask me, nga nang appeal man ng 30,000 nga it was due to the fault of C? Because class, all for one, one for all. Remember insolvency? Insolvency of a solidary debtor shall be borne by the other solidary debtors. Same here. The fault of one of the solidary debtors shall be the fault of all of them. Okay? So, ang 30,000 na damages, even though it's due to the fault of C, shall be collected from any of the solidary debtors. Number 2, how about from B? Still, D can collect the entire amount of 330,000. How about from C? The solidary debtor who is at fault, still 330,000. Now, what if A paid the whole obligation of 330,000? How much can A recover for reimbursement from C? Is it 100,000? Yes, plus the damages of 30,000. So remember class, even if the 30,000 has been paid by A to D, no? A has the right to recover it from C. Kasi si C man ang at fault. So the total amount to be recovered from by A from C is 130,000. 100 the share of C from the price of the truck, and 30,000 the damages class, no? Due to the fault of C. What if A paid the whole obligation of 330,000? How much can A recover for reimbursement from B? Only 100,000 pesos, the share of B in the price of the truck. Ang 30,000 class ang managot na lang ana sa magbahin-bahin, no? Pagbahin-bahin na nila among themselves, among the solidary debtors, si C na lang because C is at fault. Walay appeal na si A and B. But remember this, as far as the creditor is concerned, si A, B, and C liable, any of them, for the entire obligation, the price of the truck plus damages.